Hello and welcome to another session from Ekcel Academy. In this session, are we going to study one entire chapter? The answer is no. Then what are we going to do? We are going to discuss only one concept, and that concept is the foundational requirement to understand one entire regulation. Before going to actually tell you what is the concept that I am going to deal with, let's discuss two scenarios, two situations or two stories. First one, let's assume your mother is a great cook. Okay, she makes amazing food and she get a lot of praises from everybody around that these dishes don't exist anymore. These are the recipes which have been transferred from generation to generation, and these are lost recipes. Only very few people from among the community know how to make these dishes. So she gets a lot of praises from everybody. Your father keeps observing this, and one fine day he gets an idea that these are the recipes which are lost. People don't get access to this kind of food. People love cultural food, but they are not getting these anywhere else. So let's open a restaurant is what he thinks. So he tells your mother that you note down and jot down all these recipes. We'll sit one day, plan, shortlist the recipes and open a restaurant. So your mother actually sits and recalls and writes all the recipes pinpointed. A lot of recipes she writes down. Now she shares this idea with one of her friend and a few people who visit the house and just get their suggestions and feedback of whether this is going to work, this is not going to work, just a discussion to understand the public point of view. What happens in the absence of your mother, one of her friends take the photos of the recipes that she has written down and passes it to somebody else. This information was available only with a few selected people. This idea was shared only with a few selected people. But now that information has been given to somebody else. And what will be the impact of sharing this information with somebody else is the question. Let's look at the second scenario. Okay, you are a group of 10 friends who are very close, and it's one of the friends' birthday and you want to throw a surprise party for him. 10 of you all together decide that we want to give him a surprise and we are going to invite close to 50 friends. Okay, only a few people are going to be invited. We'll have a surprise party. Now one of the friends whom you have invited does not want your surprise party to become successful for whatever reason. So he is going to give the information of everything that you have planned with respect to surprise party to the friend for whom you are arranging the party and spoiling all the surprise by actually giving him the information. So what has happened in this given scenario? Only 10 plus 50 people who were invited for the party had the information about the surprise that was being arranged for a friend. Nobody else knew this information. It was confidential information about the surprise, but that information was shared with somebody else. So what is happening here? There, in both these situations, something is common. What is common? That there is some information which is available only to a selected number of people, and that information is being put out. And the impact of that decision or the impact of that information being put out can be anything in both the scenarios. So this relates to us to the concept of something called as unpublished price sensitive information in relation to insider trading. So we are going to deal with lesson number 13, that is the laws relating to prohibition of insider trading. We are going to discuss the SEBI PIT regulations of 2015. But are we going to study the entire regulation? The answer is no. For us to understand why SEBI has introduced the SEBI PIT regulations and what each one of the provisions or regulations mean, you should know the foundational aspect, that is nothing but unpublished price sensitive information. This is in relation to insider trading. So entire focus in this session is going to be understanding only one concept, one word, that is unpublished price sensitive information. Okay, let's have a look. SEBI has clearly stated under the PIT regulations that insider trading is 100% prohibited. To understand why SEBI has introduced a 100% prohibition of insider trading, you should understand the meaning of what is insider trading. So first, let's have a look at what is insider trading. What is insider? Who is an insider? Somebody who is within the organization. within a particular group. In the examples that we took, who were insiders in the first example of the house where recipe was being discussed? The father, mother, kids in the house, the family members, and the friends with whom they had shared the idea for getting a feedback. All those people involved in the project were considered as insiders. In the second scenario, all the friends who were planning and the 50 people who were invited, all these totally 60 people are considered as insiders because they had information with related to that project. The project was giving surprise party. In the first case, the project was the recipes and opening of the restaurant. In second case, the project was giving a surprise party. Who all had information in relation to that project are insiders. So, who are insiders? Anybody who is in relation to within that organization, within that project is an insider. What is trading? Trading means nothing but buying and selling the shares of the company. Trading is buying and selling the shares of the company. If you link these two concepts together, what do you understand by insider trading? Any person who is an insider, who has access to some information, undertakes under trading activities, that transaction is called as insider trading. What is insider trading? Some insider who has access to some information, on the basis of this information he is undertaking trading activities. That means insider trading has taken place. Okay, so that is insider trading. Let's go through it. Insider trading is when someone buys or sells, that is nothing but trades, shares of the company while having access to some important information about the company which is not available to the public yet. It is available only to a selected group of people who are called as insiders. It is unpublished. It is not in the public domain. So, when some person undertakes trading activities on the basis of information which is not publicly available is called as insider trading. The secret information that is not available to the general public is itself called as unpublished price sensitive information. So, how will you connect these concepts? Whenever there is an unpublished price sensitive information that is not available in the public domain, on the basis of that information, if any person buys or sells the shares of the company, then we call that insider trading has taken place. So, you have to remember that for insider trading to take place, the foundational requirement is the presence of unpublished price sensitive information. So, you should know what is unpublished price sensitive information. Let's understand what is unpublished price sensitive information. What is the meaning of the word unpublished? Publication means something you are writing, you are publishing an article, you are publishing a book, you are publishing some music, you are putting out in the public domain. Unpublished means something that is secret, something that is confidential, something that is not available in the public. Only a few selected people have access to the information. Unpublished. What is price? Nothing but share price. Price of the shares on the stock exchange, whether it is BSE, NSE or an MSME exchange, wherever. Sensitive means it can cause an impact. Price is sensitive. That means either the share price can increase or the share price can fall on the basis of what is the information. Information can be any data, can be any news, can be any knowledge, anything. So, what is unpublished price sensitive information? Any news, any information, any data that is not available in the public domain, something that is secret, something that is confidential, but if it comes out in the public domain, has the capacity of impacting the share price of the company. What is unpublished price sensitive information? Currently it is not available with the public, but if the same information is made available to the public at large, it can cause an impact on the share price of the company. So if the information is of such a nature that it can have an impact on the share price, then it is called as unpublished price sensitive information. Please note that this information, if it is put out in the public domain, it can impact the share price. So if it is information which is confidential but which has no relevance to the share price, even if that information comes out in the public domain, it is not going to impact the share price, then it cannot be classified as unpublished price sensitive information. So various elements are required to be present. First one is there should be some kind of information. Second one is that information should be confidential. Third one is that information should be capable of causing an impact on the share price of the company when it is put out in the public domain. If these things are satisfied, only then it is called as unpublished price sensitive information. Okay. Now, if you have access to unpublished price sensitive information and on the basis of this unpublished price sensitive information you undertake a trading activity, that is either you buy or you sell the shares, then we say that insider trading has taken place, and this insider trading is what is prohibited under the SEBI PIT regulations of 2015. Okay. So now this is the basis of unpublished price sensitive information. Let's connect unpublished price sensitive information with insider trading. Why people use unpublished price sensitive information to undertake trading activities and how it amounts to insider trading. Insider trading is a situation where people deal with, that is either buy or sell the shares of the company on the basis of confidential information which is related to the company and it is not published or not known to the public at large, is called as unpublished price sensitive information. So what is insider trading? Whenever a person buys or sells the shares of the company on the basis of unpublished price sensitive information, it leads to insider trading. Now, what is the purpose of using the unpublished price sensitive information for undertake trading activities? It can be for two reasons. One is either you are going to make a profit or you are going to avoid the loss that you might suffer. But how can you use unpublished price sensitive information for making profit or avoiding losses? Let's understand with an example. Two situations. In one case you are going to make profit, in one case you are going to avoid loss. How are you going to make profit? Let's take a situation. There is a company. The company share price as on the stock exchange currently is rupees 100 per share. 100 per share. Now, over the previous year, the company has done really well, that it has seen significant growth in the organization in relation to the revenues, in relation to the market share for its product and various reasons. So obviously it has shown a lot of profits. Okay. How do we get to know that the company is performing well? Only when the company is going to issue the financial statements every quarter and at the end of the financial year. Who makes the financial statements? It is within the organization. You have a financial department, the finance team, which deals with preparing the financial statements and ultimately putting it in the public domain. Now what happens? There are people within the finance department. They are the ones who are actually working, seeing what is the cost, what is the revenue, what is the debt. Ultimately, they are working at making the financial statements. They have access to a lot of data. They know that the company is going to project good profits in the financial statements for the year end. And they know that when we announce that a company has performed so well through a press conference, immediately when the release is done of the financial statements, the share price is going to shoot up from 100 to 150. 50 rupees profit per share can be made. I'm just giving example. They won't know how much it is going to increase, but they can definitely predict whether there is going to be an increase or there is going to be a decrease. They know a significant increase is going to be there on the basis of the growth that they have done in the previous 1 year. So what happens? One member of the finance department tells his wife that our company has done exceptionally well. This is our share price. But you see, once the financials are released, the share price will become so much. He's discussing it with his wife. So what does the wife do? The wife immediately buys the shares at 100 rupees per share. She buys in huge quantity. And after some time, when the results are declared, the share price shoots up and she is able to make 50 rupees profit per share, and a huge profit is made. Because how did she make this profit? She made this profit only because she got an information from her husband that the company has performed really well. So what is unpublished price sensitive information here? The information is about how much is the growth, what is the profit, and how the company is going to declare its financial statements. That is unpublished price sensitive information which was being accessed by only the finance department members. So insider here is the team of the finance. That fellow has communicated it to his wife. So there is a communication of unpublished price sensitive information that has taken place. On the basis of that unpublished price sensitive information, see, she has undertaken trading activity, she has bought the shares and she has made profit of 50 rupees per share. This is how you can make use of unpublished price sensitive information for making profits. When can you make a profit? Whenever there is a positive news, whenever there is a good news that will signify that the share price of the company is going to go up. That will lead to making of profits by use of unpublished price sensitive information. Second scenario is how you can avoid a loss. Here in the first scenario, we've always seen the positive news and the good news. Now, whenever there is any kind of negative news about the company or whenever there is any kind of bad news about the company, it is bound that the share price is going to crash. It is going to fall down. Let's assume the share price of the company currently is 100 rupees per share on the stock exchange, and when the information comes out, let's just few months back what happened with the Adani group. So many allegations are there through various regulators, not only in our country but also abroad. Even foreign regulators are imposing some kind of charges of corruption. N number of other regulatory compliance is not there. N number of bad news about Adani group has come out in the public domain, which led to the share price crash. Okay, so similarly, any bad news, whether it is about corruption charges, whether it is for non-compliance, whether it is about any kind of new cases filed against the company, whether it is for any kind of environmental damage that they have done to the country or to the location, anything that is not good will lead to the crash in the share price. Let's assume the share price will fall down to 70 rupees. So any investor who is holding a share of the company, his value was 100 rupees, but suddenly the value has become 70. So he has made a loss of 30 rupees per share, right? So what is going to happen? Let's assume there are a lot of cases against the company, okay, and this information is available only with the legal department. They are getting a notice every day from some or the other regulator for compliance issues. This information is still not out in the public domain. Only the legal department knows about it. But they know that they cannot hide it for very long. It is going to come out in the public domain. So before it comes out in the public domain, let us sell off the shares that we hold at 100 rupees rather than later share price falling to 70 rupees. So what are you doing here? You're avoiding the loss that might be caused to you when the news comes out in the public domain. So here, what is unpublished price sensitive information? The news about the cases and non-compliance by the company's unpublished price sensitive information. Whether it has a capacity of impacting the share price? Yes. Negative impact. Share price is going to fall down once they know that the company is not compliant. People don't want to be holding shares of the company that is not complying with the provisions of law. So they want to sell off the shares. The price is going to fall down. So before the share price actually falls down, they are going to sell the shares of the company and avoid the loss that can be caused because of that unpublished price sensitive information. So this is the concept of insider trading and unpublished price sensitive information. Only if there is an unpublished price sensitive information, insider trading can take place. If there is no unpublished price sensitive information, no chance of insider trading can exist. So if you want to frame charges of insider trading, you have to prove that there was some category of unpublished price sensitive information available. That is when this concept becomes relevant, and the details of this definition of unpublished price sensitive information is extremely important. Let's understand how you can make profits. I've already explained you with the scenario. Let's see. Imagine you work for a company and you know in advance that the company is going to announce a big merger with some other company, and merger is a positive news. Okay, you can increase your capabilities. So you know it is a positive news, and once this news comes out in the public domain, the share price is going to go up. So you buy the shares of the company before this news is made official, and you can make profit when the share price actually goes up. In the similar way, how can you avoid losses whenever there is any kind of bad news? Before the bad news is put out in the public domain, if you sell off your shares, you can avoid the loss that is caused by decrease in the value of share price per share. So this is how you can make loss and avoid losses on the basis of unpublished price sensitive information. And when you undertake these trading activities, that leads to insider trading, and insider trading is completely prohibited. We will understand why SEBI has imposed a restriction or prohibition on insider trading. Let's understand also with few cases. There is this one girl, she's an employee of this company X. Okay. The company is planning a merger with company A. Okay, merger is going to take place. Only she has access to that information. In her department, people know about it. Nobody else has access to this information because they are only still doing the due diligence, and ultimately they have not yet signed the merger agreement. They are only in the terms of discussion, which is positive. Okay, they know that definitely this merger is going to take place. She has access to that information. Immediately she thinks that this is information that is very vital, and this information can definitely increase the value of the shares in the future once the merger announcement is going to be made. I have a friend who is very interested in trading, who is actively involved in making investments in the market. Let me give him this information so that he can make some profits. So he calls her friend and says, I want to tell you something, please urgently meet me for a coffee. She calls him on a coffee and tells, keep it to yourself. That means this is something that is very, very confidential. Don't tell anybody, but I am telling you that there is going to be a merger soon, and the company share price are going to shoot up very quickly in the near future. So she's saying, buy the shares of the company before the announcement is publicly made. She's directly giving him access to unpublished price sensitive information. So what is she doing? She is making communication of unpublished price sensitive information, and on the basis of that, she is also giving suggestion, undertake trading activity, please buy the shares now. So she is hinting him to undertake insider trading. On the basis of this information, her friend directly buys the shares of the company in huge quantity because he relies on the information and he knows that this is going to be positive. He buys on huge quantity. So what is the outcome? Ultimately, 2 weeks later, the merger was announced and the company's share prices have rocketed. That means it is shot up. If the share price was 100, it has become 200. 100 rupees per share, he's made a profit. So like this, the friend has made a huge profit. So what has taken place in this given scenario? Insider trading has taken place. Understand the elements. What are the elements? First one, you should identify whether there is unpublished price sensitive information or not. Is it? It is there. And what is the unpublished information here? The information about the merger itself is unpublished price sensitive information. Next. Okay, unpublished price sensitive information is there. Then what? How do we apply PIT regulations? There are 2 things you should remember. Whenever a person is in possession of unpublished price sensitive information, 2 things are there. First one is, you're not supposed to communicate the unpublished price sensitive information apart from the protocol that has been established. Second one is, you should not undertake trading activities. So two kinds of provisions are provided. One is in relation to communication. Second one is in relation to trading. What is communication? There is certain restriction on communicating or on giving any unpublished price sensitive information. What do we mean by restriction? I have access to unpublished price sensitive information. I cannot communicate that information to random stranger or anybody else. I can communicate if it is required by law, some statutory authority is asking, if by the virtue of nature for coordination between different departments I have to tell somebody, I can do so. But whenever I am going to communicate, I have to maintain a database about to whom I have given this information, why I have given this information, what is the purpose of giving the information, when did I give the information. So when I have communicated the information to Mr. A, Mr. A also will automatically become an insider because now he has access to unpublished price sensitive information, and he will also be bound by the PIT regulations that he further cannot communicate that information to anybody else. So there are restrictions on communication of unpublished price sensitive information that has been violated by that employee because she has communicated the information about merger to her friend. That is one violation that has taken place in the given example. Second restriction is on trading. Here there is no restriction, there is 100% prohibition. Understand, this is restriction. You can do so in certain scenarios, you cannot do so generally. Here there is a 100% prohibition. You cannot undertake trading activities when you have access to or when you are in possession of unpublished price sensitive information. Whether you yourself, okay, I am the person who has access to unpublished price sensitive information. I cannot undertake insider trading activities. I cannot undertake trading activities on the basis of that information. Neither can I tell Mr. A is going to tell B that you further undertake trading activities. Even that is prohibited. So not only myself, not only I am prohibited from undertaking trading activities, but on the basis of that, I cannot make anybody else also undertake trading activities on the basis of that information. So two scenarios are there. One is communication of unpublished price sensitive information. Next is trading on the basis of unpublished price sensitive information. Communication is restricted, but trading is 100% prohibited. So what are the two violations that have taken place in that given scenario? First one is that there is unpublished price sensitive information. We have established that. Second is two violations have taken place. First one is there is a communication of unpublished price sensitive information outside of the restrictions that are established. And second one, there is insider trading because Arjun had actually bought the shares on the basis of the information that was given to him by her friend. So two violations are there on the basis of the unpublished price sensitive information. Let's have a look at one more example. Three friends are there. They've gone out for lunch, get together, and one of the friend wants to change the phone. Okay, she is asking for suggestions. I want to buy a new phone. Please suggest what shall I buy? My phone is not working. I'm looking for a change. I'm looking for an upgradation. You give me suggestions. What are the phones that are there in the market that I should buy? So her friend who is working in one of the mobile companies tells her, don't tell anybody, but our company is launching a new product. That product is going to be a game changer. It is going to bring a lot of changes in the market. New features are there. So many additional things are there. It is going to be a game changer. We are going to give a lot of competition to the existing products. You wait. In a few months, we are going to launch that phone. You wait and buy that new phone. In the name of giving suggestion, he is given some vital information about the product launch. That model, that phone details are still not put out in the public domain. Only he has access to that information because he is working in the technical team. He is working on that project. So he knows about the product launch. But that product launch has not been announced by the company at all. He is telling the friend. She has randomly taken it as a suggestion. Oh, is it? Okay, I will wait for the product to be launched. But the third person who is sitting on the table has connected the dots. Oh, he's saying a new product is going to be launched. This product launch is going to be a game changer. It will definitely increase the share price of the company. Let me buy the shares immediately. So what has happened here? Has he directly communicated that this is unpublished price sensitive information, keep it secret, don't tell anybody? No. In the name of giving suggestion, in the flow of the conversation, indirectly he has hinted on the confidential information. So has there been a communication? Yes, there has been an indirect communication of information. On the basis of that indirect communication, somebody has undertaken trading activity. So has insider trading taken place in the given scenario? Yes, it has taken place. Indirect communication and then direct trading, buying of the shares has taken place. So even in this scenario, there is unpublished price sensitive information that is about a new product launch. What has happened? Misuse has happened. He has given that information indirectly. He did not intend to do so, but he has anyways communicated it. So like I told you, how you get access to unpublished price sensitive information is irrelevant. If you are in possession of unpublished price sensitive information, automatically PIT regulations will become applicable. And on the basis of that unpublished price sensitive information, a person has bought the shares. So there is violation of fairness, because you have unfair advantage over other investors who did not have access to the information. If other retail individual investors also had access to the information that the company is going to launch a new product, even they would have bought the shares. But they are not buying because they don't have the information. You have the information. You have an unfair advantage. You have a preferential position in that given situation. So SEBI says that our laws are for the protection of the investors, and whenever any person has access to unpublished price sensitive information, we are not allowing them to undertake trading activities, because that is going to be unfair. It is not going to be equal for all investors. A few people will have more information than the other investors. So we should not allow the people who have extra information to undertake any kind of trading activity. Okay, these are the two scenarios where insider trading has taken place. Now, what is the intention of SEBI? Like I told you, I was just saying, what is the significance of the regulator for imposing this restriction on insider trading? First and foremost, like I told you, they want to ensure level playing for all investors. They don't want anybody to have any undue advantage. They don't want anybody to have preferential treatment. They don't want anybody to make an unfair benefit out of the information that only they have. What information retail individual investors have? If you also have same information, you undertake trading activities. If you have access to any information that nobody else has, we will not allow you to make use of that information to undertake trading activities. It is to only ensure that we are going to give equal treatment. We are going to put all the investors on equal footing. Nobody should be given preference over the other. So they say dealing on the basis of unpublished price sensitive information is unfair. It is not right on the part of retail investors who do not have access to that information, because you are using an advantage that regular investors do not have, and hence insider trading should be prohibited. So they are saying that we will prohibit insider trading because we do not want to give any kind of unfair disadvantage to the retail individual investors, or unfair advantage to the people who have access to the unpublished price sensitive information. So one thing is because they want to keep all the investors on equal footing. Anybody who has extra information should not undertake trading activities. Second reason for imposing restriction or completely prohibiting insider trading is to maintain trust and integrity in the financial market. A thing that SEBI has not prohibited insider trading, they permit. Will the retail individual investors have trust on the regulator? Will they have trust in the market? Will they be interested in making an investment? Ultimately, no. If you want the retail individual investors to maintain that trust, they ensure that they should be protected, that they should also be given equal footing, right? So they say that insider trading will be considered as illegal because it is going to damage the trust in the market by the retail individual investors, and it is going to give an extra unfair edge to the people who have access to unpublished price sensitive information. So we don't want any kind of unfair advantage, preference. Okay, nothing should be given. All the investors should be treated equally, and that is why if you have access to any unpublished price sensitive information, please refrain from undertaking trading activities. For these two reasons, SEBI has clearly said that insider trading is prohibited. So what have we understood till now? We have understood that insider trading is a process where some person buys or sells the shares of the company on the basis of unpublished price sensitive information, and that is completely prohibited by SEBI. Now, I also told you that if there is no unpublished price sensitive information, insider trading charges cannot be levied. So, if you want to make the PIT regulations applicable, you should prove that there is unpublished price sensitive information. And what according to SEBI is unpublished price sensitive information? Till now we have understood the basics, okay, some information that is not available in the public domain and has the capacity of impacting the share price is unpublished price sensitive information. But let's have a look at the definition that has been provided by SEBI. Regulation 2, Subregulation 1, Clause N of the SEBI PIT regulations of 2015 define unpublished price sensitive information. We'll study the definition in two parts. The first part is the gist of what is unpublished price sensitive information, and second one is what is categorized as unpublished price sensitive information. Any information, okay, first thing is requirement. Let's count the elements that are required to be present to classify as unpublished price sensitive information. There should be some information, and that information should be related to the company or to the shares of the company, okay, and that is not generally available to the public at large. That means it is a confidential information which, if it comes out in the public domain, is going to impact the share price of the company on the stock exchange. This is unpublished price sensitive information. What is it? It is some information related to the company or the shares of the company which is not available in the public domain, but if it is made available in the public domain, has the capacity of impacting the share price on the stock exchange. This itself is unpublished price sensitive information. They have gone on to say that this includes, but it is not restricted to. That means these 5 points are illustrative. In addition to these 5 points, there can be any other information which can be classified as unpublished price sensitive information if it is satisfying the requirements that it is going to be confidential, but if put out in public domain, has the capability of impacting the share price. If all these elements are checklisted and it is not mentioned in these 5 points, even then that can be considered as unpublished price sensitive information, because in the definition itself they said that it includes, but it is not restricted to only these 5 elements. Any other information can also be unpublished price sensitive information, but the only one requirement is that information should be of the nature which can cause an impact on the share price of the company. Okay, let's see what are the 5 illustrative things. First one is financial results, second one is dividend, change in capital structure, anything relation to change or composition in merger, demerger, acquisition, delisting, disposal, expansion of business, change in key managerial personnel. So these 5 things are classified and categorized as unpublished price sensitive information. Please remember this one statement, that it is including, but it is not restricted to only this. Any other thing which has the capacity of impacting the share price can still be classified as unpublished price sensitive information. This was the definition of unpublished price sensitive information under the PIT regulations till December 2024. Right in this month, a few days back, we have made an amendment to the definition of unpublished price sensitive information, where in the month of December 2024, SEBI has expanded the ambit of the definition. A lot of news articles have put, SEBI has broadened the definition of unpublished price sensitive information to boost transparency under insider trading regulations. SEBI expands UPSI definition to include 17 more aspects of material events under the LODR regulations. SEBI board meeting, scope of definition of unpublished price sensitive information expanded by the market regulator. Now, why was there a need for SEBI to expand the ambit of unpublished price sensitive information? It is merely because of the definition. They have specified 5 points, no? The people, when they were, or companies, when they were complying with the PIT regulations, they restricted themselves by saying that only these 5 are unpublished price sensitive information. They were not complying with the law in the spirit. Whatever is written, we are going to go by the words. This is what is specified by the SEBI as unpublished price sensitive information. We are going to treat only this as unpublished price sensitive information. They did not want to comply with the law in letter and spirit, and that is why SEBI said, you are not complying, no, you are not understanding what is the purpose of bringing this regulation in place. You are restricting yourself to only these 5 points that we have given. Let it be. We will only increase the list for you. You don't want to do it in spirit, no, you are not identifying what is unpublished information in your organization. We will increase the list. Earlier only 5 points were there. Now we have added 17 more new points as unpublished price sensitive information. Because you are not complying with letter and spirit, we are going to add more points by ourselves, so that at least you consider that as unpublished price sensitive information. So SEBI in its report has clearly said that the companies were seen to categorizing only those items which are explicitly specified under the regulation 21N as unpublished price sensitive information, and they are not complying the law in spirit. They are not understanding the intention of the law. These 5 are unpublished, okay, we will treat it as unpublished. You are not using your brains in identifying what information is unpublished price sensitive information. So we will only increase the scope of the definition. We will only add more points to what can be categorized as unpublished price sensitive information. This is the reason. But what have they done? For that, you should see they have widened the scope of the definition. They are saying that 17 more material events as specified under regulation 30 of LODR regulations will be included under the ambit of unpublished price sensitive information. Let's look at regulation 30. Regulation 30 talks about disclosure of events or information. Okay, in that they say that every entity, every listed company, if they have any events, okay, there are 27 points under the schedule. Out of those 27 points, if any event occurs, it becomes the duty of the listed company to give an information, disclosure of material events. Out of these 27 points, 17 points they have selected and they have put it under the ambit of unpublished price sensitive information. So now in total, apart from 5, 17 more points have been added, which will be considered as unpublished price sensitive information. So 17 points from LODR regulations have been taken and put under the ambit of unpublished price sensitive information under the PIT regulations. So this is the amendment that has been done to the definition of unpublished price sensitive information. Okay, so that is the basic. We are putting an end to the foundational requirement of what is insider trading, what is unpublished price sensitive information. Now let's have a look at various scenarios and identify whether insider trading has taken place or insider trading has not taken place. First scenario, a director of a company tells a friend that the company is about to acquire another major competitor, and the friend buys the shares before the public announcement. So what has happened in this scenario? Is there any unpublished price sensitive information? Yes, there is an unpublished price sensitive information. What is the unpublished price sensitive information? The detail about the acquisition is the unpublished price sensitive information. Okay. So we know automatically when unpublished price sensitive information is that PIT regulations will come into picture. Next is applying the law. When you are in possession of unpublished price sensitive information, what are the 2 restrictions? It is in relation to communication. You should not communicate it unless otherwise required by law. And you should not undertake trading activity. So what has happened here? Who had access to unpublished price sensitive information? Director. Did the director communicate that information to somebody outside the organization for irrelevant purpose? Yes. So what has happened place? Misuse has taken place. So communication of UPSI has taken place other than the requirement of law. So violation has taken place. Has there anything else that has been done in contravention of the PIT regulations? Yes, the third person on the basis of UPSI has undertaken trading activities. He has bought the shares of the company. So yes, insider trading also has taken place. So yes, this is a clear case, clear scenario of insider trading. Second case, A senior manager who is working at a pharmaceutical company shares with one of his neighbor that a new drug has received the regulatory approval, and the neighbor immediately makes an investment in the company's stock. What has happened here in the given scenario? Has insider trading taken place? Has insider trading taken place? So what is the unpublished price sensitive information here? The new drug approval is the unpublished price sensitive information. Has a communication taken place? Yes, communication has taken place, which is not in accordance with the provisions of law. Has insider trading taken place? Yes, the neighbor has bought the share. So on the basis of unpublished information, trading has taken place. Again, a clear example of insider trading. Next, a market analyst makes an observation on the trends and makes a prediction about a merger between two companies. On the basis of the prediction, he buys the shares based on the analysis, and that analysis turns to be correct and the share prices increase, so he's made a profit. In this case, do you think insider trading has taken place? Is there any unpublished price sensitive information here? No, there is no insider involved at all. Nobody from within the organization is there. Here he is mainly a market analyst. He is doing his own research. He is doing his own prediction. He is doing only his speculation. Nobody has communicated anything. On the basis of the information available in the market, on the basis of whatever is already available in the public domain, he is making a prediction. There is no unpublished price sensitive information, there is no communication, nothing. He is doing the research and he is making an investment. So this is not a case of insider trading. Fourth scenario, a journalist is given confidential access to the financial report before its official release under an embargo agreement. The journalist tips off a friend to buy the shares before publishing his article. So what has happened? There is a manager. He is giving the details to the journalist further giving the details to a friend that I am going to write an article. While I am writing the article, I am going to put out some important information. Once that information is going to come out in the public domain, share price will increase. Before me writing and publishing that article, you buy the shares. So has insider trading taken place? For knowing whether insider trading has taken place, you should identify whether unpublished price sensitive information is there or not. In this case, is there any unpublished price sensitive information? The answer is yes. The detail about the good financial condition or access to the financial report itself is unpublished price sensitive information. So that has been communicated by the manager to the journalist. So there has been a violation of communication provisions in relation to unpublished price sensitive information. Now, when journalists get access to unpublished price sensitive information, he also is bound by the PIT regulations. He should not further communicate it to anybody else, and he should also not undertake trading activities. But he is not undertaking trading activities. He is told one friend to undertake trading activities to buy the shares, and he has bought it. So yes, there has been a violation of insider trading regulations with respect to communication, also with respect to the trading activities. So both has been done. Next, an employee learns that the company is about to face a major lawsuit and he sells the shares before the news becomes public. What has happened in this case? The employee himself gets to know about the cases against the company which have not yet been made public. Public don't know what all cases are charged against the company. In few days, it will come out in the public domain. But before that news comes out in the public domain, this employee who belongs to the legal department has sold his shares because he knows when details about the cases are going to come in the public domain, share price is going to crash. So before that crash, I already hold shares. It is better I sell it off now, because he knows that the charges might be correct and it will be difficult for the company to come out of this legal case in a clean manner. or they'll be definitely convicted. He knows definitely that is going to impact negatively to the company. He knows he is going to face loss if he holds the shares. So he decides to sell his shares. Has insider trading taken place? Here, how many violations have taken place? First, identify whether there is unpublished price sensitive information. Yes, first unpublished price sensitive information is the lawsuit cases that have been filed, because it is the information which can impact the share price of the company. So there is unpublished price sensitive information. Next, you should identify what all violation has been done. Here, has he communicated that information to anybody else? No. So he has not violated any provision in relation to communication of unpublished price sensitive information. He has maintained that he has not communicated with anybody else. But has he violated trading norms? Yes, he has violated trading norms. So only one violation is there, that he has undertaken trading activity while in possession of unpublished price sensitive information. He has not violated provisions in relation to communication of UPSI. He has violated provision in relation to undertaking insider trading activity. So yes, it is a case of insider trading. Next scenario, an influencer has speculated on social media that a tech giant is going to acquire some startup, and this promoted a lot of people to buy the shares of the startup, and the acquisition actually happens. He had only speculated, he had only guessworked. Is there insider trading that has happened here? So I told you, if you want to establish insider trading, you should connect it whether there is unpublished price sensitive information or not. In this case, is there any unpublished price sensitive information? No, there is no information. He is only making a guesswork. Nobody is giving him data, nobody is giving him confidential information. He on his own basis has speculated and made a guesswork. So there is no unpublished price sensitive information, and when there is no unpublished price sensitive information, there is no insider trading. So this is not a case of insider trading. PIT regulations cannot be applied. Next, seventh scenario, a board member shares an unpublished government policy that is benefiting the company with one of his friends. The friend bought the shares of the company. What is happening here? Is there any unpublished price sensitive information? Yes, the government policy is not out in the public domain. The government has only sent the draft policy to the people who are going to be impacted by that policy for their suggestion, feedback, and how changes might be required to the policy before publishing it. They are seeking feedback. That is how the company has got to know that the government is planning certain policy which will indirectly benefit the organization. So he is communicating to his friend, oh see, what this government is planning to release a policy. If this policy is going to be signed and put out, our company is going to benefit a lot. We are going to see a lot of growth. He is telling in his happiness and excitement. But how does he know that his friend is connecting, already joining the dots and already planning to buy the shares, and he actually has bought the shares of the company? Is there unpublished price sensitive information? Yes. The policy that is not in public domain is directly going to impact the share price of the company, because once that policy comes out, the company is going to benefit. If the company is going to benefit, that is an advantage for the company, share price will increase. So that is for the benefit of the company. There is unpublished price sensitive information. Here, is there a communication of unpublished price sensitive information? Yes, there is a communication. Is there trading on the basis of unpublished price sensitive information? Yes, there is trading. So it is an ideal case of insider trading. Next, personal assistant overhears the conversation between the boss discussing some confidential business growth strategies and buys the shares based on that information. Is there any information that is unpublished price sensitive information? Yes, it is about the strategic growth plan of the company. They know that this plan is there and the company is going to grow in the near future, whether it is about merger, whether it is about acquisition. Okay, there is some information. Has there been a communication of unpublished price sensitive information? No. Nobody has told. Unethically, the personal assistant has got access to the information by overhearing the conversation. Nobody has come and told her. No communication has taken place. By illegal means, by unethical means, fraudulent means, that personal assistant has got access to unpublished price sensitive information. On the basis of that information, they have bought. So yes, there is insider trading, but there is no violation in relation to communication of unpublished price sensitive information. There is only one fault, that is a person while in possession of unpublished price sensitive information has undertaken trading activities. So what do you imply by this scenario? That it is not necessary that you get access to unpublished price sensitive information in the right channel. You might get access to unpublished price sensitive information by unethical means, by illegal means, by fraudulent means. Does not matter. We will not see how you got access to unpublished price sensitive information. Our question is, if you have access to unpublished price sensitive information, you should not undertake trading activities. So here he got unethical access to unpublished price sensitive information, but he still has undertaken trading activities. The law in SEBI is clear. Any person who has access to unpublished price sensitive information should not undertake trading activities. Here he has access to unpublished price sensitive information and has still undertaken trading activities. So insider trading actually has taken place in this given scenario. Next, an hacker illegally accesses confidential financial information about the company, and on the basis of that he uses the information to trade the shares for profit. What has happened here? He has access to unpublished price sensitive information. Yes, he has access to unpublished price sensitive information, so automatically PIT regulations will be applicable. Now the hacker is in possession of unpublished price sensitive information, so automatically he is under the ambit of the regulation where he is prohibited from trading, but still he is undertaken trading activities. So it is a case of insider trading. So what we lay emphasis is, it is irrelevant how you get access to unpublished price sensitive information. If you are in possession of unpublished price sensitive information, automatically you come under the PIT regulations and you are prohibited from undertaking trading activities. So this is a clear case of insider trading. Next, a CFO knows that his company is about to declare loss in the financials during the quarterly report. Before the report is made public, the chief financial officer sells his own shares for avoiding losses. Has insider trading taken place? Is there UPSI? UPSI is there. The loss in the financials itself is the unpublished price sensitive information. Has there been communication of unpublished price sensitive information? No. He has not told anybody else that we are going to report loss. But he himself, while in possession of unpublished price sensitive information, has undertaken trading activity by selling the shares. So yes, there is only one violation, that is in relation to insider trading. There is no violation in relation to communication of UPSI. That he has maintained. He has maintained the confidentiality. He has not given out the information to anybody other than requirement of law. But he has undertaken insider trading. So that is the violation of PIT regulations. So all these were the scenarios in relation to what is unpublished price sensitive information, how it is related to the PIT regulations being the foundational aspect for application of PIT regulations, for applicability of insider trading charges. The foundational concept is unpublished price sensitive information, and that is what we have focused in today's session. So the key points that we have identified from the theory and the various scenarios that we have discussed is how you get access to unpublished price sensitive information is absolutely relevant. We are only going to focus whether you have any kind of possession of unpublished price sensitive information. If you are in possession of unpublished price sensitive information, irrespective of how you got access to, automatically PIT regulations will become applicable. So whether it is a legal way, illegal way, unlawful way, does not matter for us. Whether you have possession or no possession, that is what we are going to see ultimately. Use of UPSI, whether you have legally used the UPSI, whether you are communicating only as per the requirement of law, are you communicating it voluntary, are you communicating it involuntary, are you forced to communicate the unpublished price sensitive information, what is the scenario? And lastly, trading while in possession of unpublished price sensitive information is completely prohibited under the PIT regulations. This is what we have discussed in this session. For the laws in relation to insider trading. SEBI has launched the SEBI PIT regulations of 2015, which in detail discusses the scope of UPSI, what is unpublished price sensitive information, which we have already discussed, how to handle UPSI. If you are in possession of unpublished price sensitive information, how are you required to handle it? How are you required to maintain the data? What is the digital structural database that you have to maintain? Communication, what are the restrictions that are imposed on the people who are in possession of unpublished price sensitive information? In what case they can give the information, in what case they cannot communicate, that is provided. Complete prohibition of insider trading has been imposed. If you violate any provisions of PIT regulations, whether you are communicating outside the requirement of law, whether you are undertaking trading activities while in possession of UPSI, what are the penalties that are going to be imposed on you? Trading plans, whistleblower mechanism. If you know somebody who is undertaking trading, insider trading activities, you can inform the regulators that PIT regulations are being violated. Somebody is involved in insider trading. So you can be the whistleblower. Chinese wall mechanism, that within the departments, finance department cannot give its detail to legal department cannot give its detail to sales department. Okay, so like that, within the department wise also you should maintain walls, that the communication should not happen within the organization also, it should remain within the teams. You should not inform your friend who is another department. That level of communication also should not take place in relation to unpublished price sensitive information. That is establishing of Chinese walls. Department wise also wall should be created, that information should not be shared. Code of conduct, what is the code of conduct that should be followed while PIT regulations become applicable? Disclosure requirements. These are all the provisions that are provided under the PIT regulations, which we are going to discuss in detail in the classes. Before going into concluding of the session, let's quickly look at some questions from the past question papers of the ICSI. Again, I have selected only those questions which are directly in relation to unpublished price sensitive information, the topic for today's discussion. Referring to SEBI insider trading regulation, answer the following. First one, what is unpublished price sensitive information? Directly they have asked you to define. So what is ever provided under regulation 2, subregulation 1N, the definition. What we have seen, any information in relation to the company or shares of the company which is not available in the public domain, but if made available in the public domain can impact the share price, is called as unpublished price sensitive information. It includes, but it is not restricted to 5, that is financial results, dividend, capital structure, change in key managerial personnel, disposal, merger, acquisition, growth plan, expansion plan, all that. In addition to that, amendment has been made in December 2024, where scope has been increased. 17 new points from regulation 30 of LODR regulations have been added. This should be your answer for what is unpublished price sensitive information. You can also quote the examples that we have discussed. Second, state with reference or reasons whether the following information is price sensitive or not. First one, RBI has increased the statutory liquidity ratio by 15 basis point. It in general is not an unpublished price sensitive information. It is a regular routine work of RBI. Again, if the company is directly in relation to the financial sector, maybe for them it will, so as a sectoral basis, it may be unpublished price sensitive information, but generally for any other company, it does not matter. It is not going to impact their share price. So categorically, you cannot classify it as a unpublished price sensitive information. Second one, the company is increasing its authorized share capital. On the basis of the definition itself, it is clear that yes, if there is any change in the capital structure, that is unpublished price sensitive information. Here they are increasing their authorized share capital. Right? What does that mean? If they are increasing the authorized share capital, that means they are planning for an expansion. They are having some new project that will definitely lead to the growth of the company. So yes, that if there is growth in the company, it is going to impact the share price. So yes, it is an unpublished price sensitive information. You have to give along with reasons. So you tell why you classify it as an unpublished price sensitive information. Next question. The price of equity shares of a listed company, Nextdial Limited, was 10 rupees. It has increased to 50 rupees. That is a 500% hike during the period from 1st April to 30th September. Because the limited company has entered into a share purchase agreement where they wanted to acquire 40% of the stake in another company, which would result in the change in the management. This decision took place on 1st April, but the agreement was signed on 25th April. And during this period of 1st April to 30th September, the promoter and the wife of the promoter have dealt with in the shares of the company. That means they have undertaken trading activities. This is the fact. The question is, referring to the provisions of the PIT regulations, answer the following. Define unpublished price sensitive information. Again, it is nowhere related to the facts. Direct theory question they have asked. What is unpublished price sensitive information? You should write what is regulation 2(1)(n) that we have discussed for the previous question as well. Second one, whether there was any unpublished price sensitive information in the given scenario. The answer is yes. There is discussion about the share purchase agreement. There is a discussion about the acquisition of 40% stake. There is a discussion about the change in the management. All this itself is unpublished price sensitive information, and on the basis of that unpublished price sensitive information, while in possession of unpublished price sensitive information, the promoter and the wife of the promoter have undertaken trading activities. So yes, there is unpublished price sensitive information, and yes, there is insider trading that has taken place. So these are the few examples of questions that the institute asks from concepts like these. For in-depth discussion on the PIT regulations, you can join our classes. Our new batch is starting from 15th of January. For more details about the batch, you can contact us on 973-973-3400. Just understand that we should focus on not just understanding what is the law, what is the regulation, what is the section, what is the provision. You should always understand from the foundation, what is the foundation, what is the concept. If the regulator has made a law, what was the reason behind making the law? As professionals, we should not focus on mere compliance. We should focus on something that is called as compliance in letter and spirit. That means don't only see what is on the face of the regulation. You understand the intention of why that regulation was brought into force. What is the purpose of the law? And as professional, our duty is to ensure that the purpose of the legislations are fulfilled. So you should have that level of knowledge, and for that you can join in our classes for getting the in-depth knowledge. Till then, all the best for your CS journey. I hope this video was helpful.